My beloved brother, my beloved sister, come close to me for a moment because what I'm about to share with you tonight is not ordinary knowledge. It is not something you will read in a self-help book. It is not something you will hear from a motivational speaker on stage. And it is certainly not something they teach in the schools of this world. What I am going to reveal to you could be the turning point of your entire existence. And I do not say those words lightly. I say them because I have seen it with my own eyes. I have witnessed with these very hands women who could not pay their rent, men who could not sleep at night, mothers drowning in anxiety, fathers carrying the weight of generations of failure, souls trapped in invisible prisons of sickness, loneliness, and silent despair, all of them finding the doorway to their freedom in the most unexpected place in the world, not in a temple, not in a retreat, not on a mountain in the Himalayas, but inside their own closet. Listen to me carefully. That forgotten garment buried at the back of your wardrobe, that shirt you refuse to wear anymore but cannot bring yourself to throw away, that pair of pants that belonged to the darkest chapter of your life, that dress that still carries the scent of a person who no longer exists in your world, none of it is simple fabric. None of it is just cotton and thread. The ancient masters of Israel understood this thousands of years ago, long before modern psychology ever whispered a word about energy. They knew with absolute certainty that the clothing we wear absorbs everything, everything. Your sweat, your breath, your tears when you cried yourself to sleep, the blood from the wound you tried to hide, the whispered prayers you never spoke aloud, your moments of joy, your explosions of anger, your private grief. Every single fiber of that cloth is like a spiritual sponge, silently recording the story of your soul. And when you simply toss that garment into the trash without performing what I am about to teach you, you are not throwing away fabric, you are opening a door to stagnation, a door to scarcity, a door to a slow and invisible leak of your life force, your vital energy, spilling out into places it was never meant to go. But before we descend into the deepest layers of this teaching, my beloved brother, I want to ask you for something with all the love in my heart. The spiritual realm does not respond to force, it does not respond to noise, it does not respond to desperation, it responds to intention, and it responds to the spoken word. So I invite you right now, wherever you are, to take authority over your own life. Breathe in deeply, hold it, and repeat after me out loud, exactly where you are sitting. I reclaim my light, and I sever the chain that ties me to my past. Say it with conviction. Say it like you mean it. And the moment you finish speaking those words, I want you to write them in the comments below, not as just another message lost in a sea of notifications, but as a seed you are planting in the soil of your own reality. Because when you declare something with genuine faith and then seal that declaration in writing, the heavens take notice and things begin to shift in your favor. Have you written it? Good. Blessed be the name. Now let me open this teaching for you. In the wisdom of Israel, my beloved, clothing is not merely fabric. Clothing is spiritual technology. It is a sacred instrument, as precise as any tool a surgeon would use. Let me explain something that the Kabbalistic masters have been teaching for centuries in hushed tones in the study halls of Jerusalem and Safed. There exists a concept known as Or Makif. Or Makif, translated, means surrounding light. It is the portion of your soul that does not live inside your physical body, but rather surrounds you, envelops you, hovers around you like an invisible field, like a luminous atmosphere that moves wherever you move. Think of it as your spiritual aura, your energetic signature, the light of your soul that spills out beyond the borders of your skin. And that light, that Or Makif, is constantly imprinting itself onto everything that touches you, especially your clothes. Do you remember the story of the prophet Elijah? When Elijah was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire, something incredible happened. His mantle, his simple cloak, fell to the earth, and his disciple Elisha picked it up. And with that garment, that humble piece of cloth, Elisha struck the waters of the Jordan River, and the waters parted before him. Why? How is that possible? Because Elijah's mantle was never just fabric. It was a vessel, a living container of his spiritual authority, saturated with years of prayer, prophecy, fasting, and divine encounter. The garments of the high priests in the holy temple were not costume, they were not fashion, they were not decoration. They were instruments of connection between the earthly realm and the divine. Every thread had meaning, every color carried a frequency, every stitch was placed with intention. Now turn your eyes to yourself. The shirt you are wearing at this exact moment, the one touching your skin right now, is a spiritual sponge. Not a sponge that absorbs water, but one that absorbs and records every single emotion, every heartbeat, every thought, every memory you have lived inside it. If you cried wearing that shirt, that sorrow was recorded into the fibers. If you had a bitter argument with someone you loved while wearing those pants, that rage was embedded in the weave. If you received devastating news, a phone call that shattered your world, while wearing that jacket, that moment of collapse was sealed into the cloth. And here is what no one tells you. Every single time you put that garment back on, you are not just getting dressed, you are reactivating that emotion. You are unknowingly stepping back into that moment. You are wearing your trauma like a second skin. That is why there are certain clothes you just cannot bring yourself to wear. Even if they are brand new, even if they were washed 3 times, even if they look perfect, something inside you, something deeper than logic, rejects that garment. Because your soul knows. Your soul always knows what that fabric is carrying. And now I must tell you what happens when you dispose of these garments incorrectly. Pay attention to what I am about to say, because this is where most people lose their blessing without ever realizing it. My beloved sister, as long as that garment exists anywhere in this world, there is an invisible thread connecting you to it, a spiritual cord, a living line of energy. The Kabbalists have a name for it. They call it chibur, which means connection or bond. It is as though that piece of clothing is a fragment of your soul that you left walking around outside of your body, and through that invisible cord, your life energy continues to flow, continues to drain out of you, traveling toward wherever that garment now rests, in a landfill, in a stranger's home, in a second-hand shop on the other side of the city. It does not matter how far away it is, the cord remains intact. And here is what you must grasp with every fiber of your being. If that garment is sitting in a place of darkness, if it is in a dumpster surrounded by rot and decomposition, if it is in an environment saturated with what the sages call klipo, the shells of impurity, the low and heavy energies of this world, then all of that darkness is traveling back up the cord, back to you, into you. Now I want to ask you something deeply personal, and I need you to be brutally honest, not with me, but with yourself. Whose garment is it that you are still holding on to? That one piece of clothing you cannot bring yourself to release. The one that every time you see it hanging there makes something shift in your chest. Is it from a person who broke your heart and walked out the door without looking back? Is it from a time of bankruptcy, of humiliation, of financial ruin that you are desperately trying to forget? Is it from someone who has already left this world and letting go of the fabric feels like burying them all over again? Write it in the comments. You do not have to tell us the story. You do not have to explain anything. Just write the words, "I have a garment from my past." Because acknowledging the attachment is the very first step in dismantling it. It is the first cut of the invisible cord. And believe me, my beloved brother, until you cut that cord, you will continue carrying that weight, a weight that can silently enslave you for years, a weight that you will blame on the economy, on your partner, on bad luck, on anything except the real culprit hanging in your closet. Now here comes the twist that nobody tells you. Most people, when they finally decide to clean out their wardrobe, think they are doing something noble. They say to themselves, "I will not throw it in the garbage, I will donate it, I will give it to someone who needs it more than I do, I will do a good deed." And they believe they are performing an act of charity. But here is the dangerous truth. If you donate or give away that clothing without performing the ritual I am about to teach you, it is actually worse than throwing it in the trash. Listen to me carefully, because this is where the damage multiplies. When you hand your garment to another person, that piece of cloth goes to live a second life with someone who has their own energy, their own emotional history, their own wounds, their own inner demons. If that person is suffering from deep depression, your garment drinks in that depression. If that person is consumed by bitter envy, your garment soaks in that envy. If that person lives in a home surrounded by klipa, those dense, shadowy presences of low vibration, your garment becomes a channel, a conduit, an open pipeline. And remember what I told you, my beloved. The invisible cord is still connected to you. It was never severed. So all of that toxic energy, all of that darkness accumulating on the other end, travels back through the cord, back to your chest, back to your home, back into your marriage, back into your business, back into your dreams. And suddenly you start feeling things you cannot explain. A sadness that has no origin. An anxiety that wakes you up at 3 in the morning for no reason. Financial problems that defy every logical explanation. Arguments that erupt in your house out of absolutely nothing over things that would not have bothered anyone a month ago. You start thinking you are going crazy. You start wondering what is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. What is wrong is that you gave away your clothing without kavana. Kavana, write that word down. Kavana means intention, sacred focused intention. From this moment forward, this word must live in your vocabulary. Without the proper intention, without the proper ritual, that garment is still yours on the spiritual plane, and everything that happens to it happens to you. The Hasidic masters taught this to their students with great seriousness. They would say, before you give away your clothing, you must perform betul. Betul is the sacred act of nullification, of canceling your spiritual ownership, of breaking the cord, of releasing your light back into yourself. And if you are not willing to do it, then do not donate, burn it, shred it, Rip it into 1,000 pieces, because handing away your garments without bitul is like handing a stranger a fragment of your own soul and praying that nothing bad ever happens to it. Very well, my beloved brother, there are deeper mysteries of the Kabbalah, ancient texts, and levels of spiritual protection that are too sacred and too delicate to share in videos open to the entire world. For those of you who feel the calling to go deeper, I have opened the doors of our private community. If that calling is stirring in your chest right now, click the button to join. You will find the link in the pinned comment and step into the exclusive membership of Alma Judia. In that sacred space, we share the light that the Masters reserved only for the true seekers. And now, my beloved, I will give you the secret you have been waiting for, the 2 steps you must perform before getting rid of any garment, and the critical warning about the mistake that so many people make. Step 1. Mutilate the garment. And I mean this literally. Before you throw it away, before you donate it, before you hand it off to anyone, take a pair of scissors and make a cut in it. The cut does not have to be enormous, but it must be visible. A clear cut on the sleeve, a cut at the collar, a deliberate slice in the pant leg. Why do we do this? Because in the tradition of Israel, when you mutilate a garment with intention, the spiritual realm no longer recognizes it as yours. It is as though you have changed its code, rewritten its energetic signature, altered its soul print. That garment is no longer the same one you wore, the same one that absorbed your light. It has become something else entirely, and the cord weakens. The cord begins to fray. Step 2. Perform the bitul, the verbal nullification. After you have cut the garment, you must speak. This part is absolutely crucial. Words are not just sounds. Words are creative forces. Say the following out loud with your voice trembling if it must. But say it. I nullify my connection with this garment. I release every drop of my energy from this fabric. I sever the cord that binds me to it. May it go in peace, but may it no longer be mine. Say it with intention. Say it with kavana. Do not mumble it like a robot reading a manual. Feel it. Visualize the cord snapping in half. See your light pouring back into your body like liquid gold returning home. And now the warning. Here is where so many people fail. They make the cut, they say the words, but in their heart, they are still attached, still holding on, still feeling nostalgia, still whispering inside themselves, but this shirt has so many memories. I wore this on my wedding day. My grandmother gave me this. That is not bitul, my beloved. That is spiritual theater. That is performance without substance. True bitul must rise from the deepest chamber of your soul. You must genuinely want to release. You must be truly ready to let go. If you are not ready yet, then do not do it today. Wait. But when you finally do it with your whole being. Because the universe does not respond to your words, it responds to the truth behind your words. It responds to your intention. Blessed be the name. My beloved brother, my beloved sister, we have reached the end of this journey together, but your real journey begins right now. Tonight, I want you to walk to your closet. I want you to pull out that one garment you know deep inside you must release. And I want you to perform the ritual, the cut, the bitul, the release. And when you have done it, I want you to come back to this video and I want you to write in the comments, tonight I cleansed my closet and my soul. Make the commitment. Make it in front of this community as your witness. And then, a few days from now, return once more and tell us how the atmosphere of your home has changed, how your energy has shifted, how the air itself feels lighter, because it will change. I promise you, with all my heart, it will change. Now receive this blessing upon your home. May the Eternal bless you and keep you. May the Eternal shine his face upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Eternal lift up his countenance upon you and grant you peace. Blessed be the name. Shalom Aleichem.